What's up, family? It's Tommy Bigg Vic. We back with another video. If you're starting an Amazon relay business in 2024, I have some good news and some bad news for you. But which one would you like to hear first? Okay, so I'll give you the bad news first, but stick around for the good news unless you're negative Nancy and you thrive off negative never mind. First thing to note with Amazon Relay, which was probably the biggest blow in 2023, was the new time frame for onboarding new carriers with new authorities. It's now 180 days with an active authority before you can start moving freight for Amazon. This was major for brand new carriers that were looking to run Amazon to jumpstart their business last year. I've also mentioned the amount of canceled loads in past videos, but it seems as if the number of loads that are being canceled when you book out in advance has almost doubled from the amount of times loads were being canceled mid last year. It can be almost impossible to get anyone on the phone at Amazon. So if you have a major issue, most things are sorted out through email, and sometimes that can be a waiting game for a response. ROC is available through the Relay app to assist you via callback if you have an issue while in transit on the route. But typically, they're there to take notes, report delays, handle cancellations, or maybe call the post office if they are hindering your drop-off schedule. This can be hit or miss, as you'll find yourself talking to Americans in the daytime, but for those postal drops in the wee hours of the morning, you'll be speaking with foreigners that may have broken English. And when you're tired, your ears can get exhausted. I'm just saying. Each carrier gets assigned a middle mile partner manager based on your domicile, but cross your fingers and hope you get one that responds in a timely manner to your concerns. If you've already set up your business checking account with Amazon Relay, please make sure you do not need to switch your bank payment information. I've had several people that reached out to me that depended solely on Amazon for their businesses and waited months to receive their payouts after switching bank accounts. So if you don't need to change that banking info, leave that alone. And if you depend solely on Amazon, that's long enough to put you out of business. Performance score metrics. Now, I get the whole premise that a company needs you to be on time to pick up and make deliveries, but I still feel like it's a bit of overkill. The rejection metric was made a little better, but I still hate the fact that if an issue really pops up where you have no choice but to reject the load you booked last minute, it shouldn't impact your score as hard. Amazon will cancel the load on you in a New York minute, but if you cancel, it affects you. I guess it's just business, but is it fair? The new badging process can be a nightmare. Drivers must have permanent badges. I've had several carriers reach out to me that had their loads rejected upon arriving to facilities where they no longer will give out a temporary badge to enter the facility. And remember, I told you how long communication times can take via email. The first thing I focused on when I started running Amazon Relay Freight was getting my permanent badge quickly. And depending on the domicile and how fast the security folks move at these Amazons, that can take some time, 2 weeks or more. I've had mentees get their badges in a couple of days by bringing security some pizza. I'm just saying. Now, I've been seeing more and more Amazon Relay box trucks popping up at the sort centers. At the top of 2023, it didn't bother me because I would only see these trucks doing residential drops in my neighborhood. I also asked the driver what drops did they do, and he replied residential and commercial, so I was cool with that. But then I started catching the same 26-foot box trucks doing pickups during the same hours that we do post office drops, and started scratching my head like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Apparently, these drivers are being paid hourly to do these drops. Now, here's what I'm thinking. There's routes that sit on the load board that people just don't fool with, and Amazon is probably filling those routes with their own paid per hour box truck drivers. I still don't see them being able to hire enough drivers on a per hour basis to cover the volume of freight they have to move to post office facilities. Either way, keep your eyes and ears open. Now, how can I say this? There's a certain demographic of people where the price almost doesn't matter to them on the Relay load board. So I know we've been screaming, let them loads sit before we book them over the past couple of years, but I don't see that system working anymore, especially for the bigger metropolitan cities where the culture is heavily diverse. For some people, money is money, even if the profit is only $50 for the amount of work they had to do for it. And with Amazon Relay's loads being plentiful, it's turned into either you're gonna fight the load board, get really strategic at at posting your truck, cross your fingers booking a short-term relay contract, or sit around and hope you can catch last-minute loads off the load board. And you need a decent performance score to make most of that a reality. Now, let's get to the good news. For everybody that might miss home pretty quickly, has a family with kids, and might miss wifey after 3 hours, you might be willing to sacrifice some of these negatives to be home every day. Good thing about Amazon Relay is it can keep you local if you live in one of those domiciles where relay freight is plentiful. One of the biggest advantages, in my opinion, with having a relay account is if you're an OTR driver and have that relay account access, it can come in handy to keep your truck moving in some of the areas where your truck may be sitting down for the weekend if your truck is empty. I remember when I was OTR for 3 weeks, I was able to move some relay freight back and forth while I was in Ohio and Kentucky. And what made those loads even more lucrative for me is they were posted by Amazon Relay Dispatch on the DAT load board. Do not write that down. I just gave you some sauce. So if you prefer short runs, and again, you're located in one of those bigger domiciles or don't mind going to camp out in one, you can book as many loads as you see fit as long as it doesn't interfere with your hours of service or overlap another load you have booked with Relay. You can't book more than your available capacity. Last year, I started seeing more loads that were available for 16-foot box cube trucks. This was huge for the guys that started their businesses with the smaller trucks. I call it going into the dungeon because if the truck isn't dock height, you have your work cut out for you. Just prepare to break a sweat loading those tall pallets into that truck size. Amazon needed smaller trucks for the post offices with lower clearances on their docks, and those loads were paying pretty decent last month. But again, I wouldn't rely solely on Amazon to run a 16-foot box truck business. It could be hit or miss depending on the location. Another good thing about having that relay access is the ability to look at every state across the country, analyze where the best loads are dropping at, and go make your money in that location. Now, that strategy is only for the massively hungry individuals. Everybody isn't built like that, and that's okay. It's always great to be in a position to have options, and Relay gives you the ability to have options all across the country. We talked about the 180-day new authority rule to run Relay, and there's a workaround for this. If you can find someone willing to let you lease onto their company's authority that is over 6 months active and they have a Relay account, then this may be an option for you. But will it be worth the risk for someone to give you access to their account? Hiring drivers and having people lease onto your Amazon account is two totally different things. Some folk don't mind risking their account while others guard their account like it's Fort Knox. And for some of us that understand how to play the Relay game, that account can make a difference to the bottom line. Amazon Relay on a local level is for sure less wear and tear on your truck, but on the other hand, maintenance is going to be needed at some point either way. So if you enter this space, you'll have to pick your poison: local, regional, OTR, or a mixture of everything. After doing this for 3 years as of next month, I can honestly say it's been all about the freedom. Hey, having trucks comes with its headaches, as any business you start will have its positives and negatives. But being able to move how and when I want to move has been the most rewarding part outside of relationships I've gained over these last 3 years. Hey, if I missed anything and you run Relay, drop it down below in the comments and add to the discussion. These are my good and bad things I feel everyone should know about before entering the world of Amazon Relay. There's no secret about my love-hate relationship with them, and I think I speak for the vast majority of us that use the app consistently to run our trucks. Can it be profitable for you? Well, that all depends on the end user. If you want to see if a Relay contract can be profitable, watch this video next. Until then, let's go, let's get it, let's eat.